And my first find is an oil lamp piece. It's a sweet button there. Big old stand-up shank. Hear me? There's another one of these things. Well, I got another one. That almost has to be a cufflink. Now that is an old button.
I'm reworking some old colonial sights of mine today. I'd just like 12 more buttons, getting 300. I was going to hit some of these sights. Some of these behind me right here used to be an old house, and see if I can pick up 12 more.
Jeremy, there's another one of these things. Came out of that hole right there. I think is off of a saddle. But I only find these at old sites where I find flat buttons.
Well, here's my collection of these pieces. All of them that I found are at sites that are dating from the late 1700s to the early 1800s, and I determined that by the flat buttons that I find at these sites. I've never found one at a newer site. Every one of these have come from a colonial period site. I'm fortunate enough also to have been added to the Global Detection Adventures Facebook page. So I took advantage of that and posted these finds, and I asked if anyone knew what they were and how they were used. I got a lot of responses, but there are two in particular that I believe help identify these pieces. Dave Wise responded, and he sent some photos of similar finds. And he included two that still have the top guide piece attached. I've never found one of these top guide pieces. Dave identified them as saddle strap guides, which is what I've been told by others in the past. Jim Toogood also responded and uploaded a photo of his finds, and he had three pieces with the top guides. And Jim also said that he'd been told that these are saddle strap guides. And then Dave also sent a picture of a 1700 saddle. And while the strap guides are different, it does illustrate where these pieces would have been attached to a saddle. And you see them circled in red here. Thanks, guys, for all of your valuable input and helping identify what these saddle strap guides were actually used for.
I've only worked this edge right here on this upper side once or twice, never have found anything here. But I got a nice flat button here with a shank. I think that leaves me 11 more. That's a good find. Out of that hole right there, I've got a fired round ball. It's a pretty good size. I believe that's probably going to be a 40, maybe even a 44. That's a good sized ball there. I'll take it. Check that button out right there, would you? Look at all the gold gilt that's still left in that. Big old stand-up shank. Almost feels like a two-piece, but I don't know. Oh, it's a sweet button there. 10 more. This one here was a real weak signal, but it's a little cuff button. The shank is broke off. It's ringing up high 40s, low 50s. 9 more.
I want to take this opportunity to do a shout out to my buddy Scott with VA History Detecting. You see his channel there on your screen. I've known Scott for a little over a year, never met him in person, but have talked with him on metal detecting forums and on YouTube and everything. He's got a relatively new channel, so help him out. Give him some subscriptions, and I think that you will like VA History Detecting. Like, subscribe, and share. Be sure and tell him that Seven sent you.
That's a little button there. It's not a little one, it's a shirt button, I guess, with the shank broke off. May have a back mark, I don't know. I'll see. 8 more. Well, I got another one. It's got a little shank, it's bent over. Just a regular flat button. But if you're keeping score at home, I'd just like 7 more to get 300. Out of that hole right there, and it was really, really shallow. I've got a what I believe is either a button or a cuff link. But look on this side here. Look at all the fancy and the inlaid pearl in that. That almost has to be a cuff link. That's a great find. Rang up in the low to mid 40s. Well, you can see all that hole there. I got a nice metal 4-hole sewing button. That is a nice find this morning. Rang up nice. It's not a great find here, but beats a head stamp. It's an old part of a pocket knife. Blades are broke out, handles are gone. I can't tell how old it is. Used to be an old house site right in here. Creek is right down there. So we'll see what else is here. I'm on a new site today. I checked this on the maps, and the landowner was a little help as well. There is a big creek that comes across right down there that breaks out into a field. And there used to be a house up here, and the oldest map that I have of this area right here is 1929, and it shows this house. And my first find, my culture for this place, as Digger Charlie would say, is an oil lamp piece. Should have a patent date possibly on the end of that stem there, the knob. We'll see what else is here. Found that piece of oil lamp right there, and I will cover these up in a moment before I leave, but I'm leaving a couple of them open here so I can kind of work around it. Just right up the hill. And I've got a bit, and that's been handmade. You can tell by how that's all been twisted around right there. That is an old work bit right there. Great find. Another big old bit. Just half of it, but I believe that one there has been maybe hand forged too. It's a good find. Out of that hole right there, I've got an old button. This is a pewter button here with the shank still on it. Very seldom find a pewter button with the shank still on it. Now that is an old button. Good find.
Whoa, wait a minute. You mean to tell me this is it? I've worked myself to death. And just like 12 buttons, and now I'm going to end the year needing four dadgum buttons, and I can't find 4 more flat buttons?
It's just December 20th. You've got another Tuesday in this month.
Oh. We'll see you next Tuesday then.